evening. You are watching Newsplus right here on ZTN Prime. My name is Faith Nyawade. Thank you so much for joining us. These are the stories that are making headlines tonight. The World Government Summit concluded today in Dubai with a strong showing from Zimbabwe. We give you a wrap of the summit as well as an expert analysis. The dry spell that had been ongoing this past weeks is expected to end. Our crew spoke to the weatherman who forecasted rainfall in most parts of the country. PhD Ministries founder Walter Magaya was back in court today, where he has been granted $3,000 bail on his pending rape charges. And later on in sport, mixed martial arts champion Sylvester Chipfumbu is back on his quest for world domination. Our first story this evening, Zimbabwe wrapped up a strong showing at the World Government Summit in Dubai, with President Emmerson Mnangagwa reaffirming the country's sovereignty, independence, foreign policy, and openness to global partnerships across energy, health, tourism, and investment. Let's get more in this report.
Zimbabwe made a firm diplomatic and economic statement at the World Government Summit in the United Arab Emirates, a platform that brought together more than 45 heads of state, over 150 government delegations, and more than 6,000 participants from around the world. One of the key takeaways from President Emmerson Mnangagwa's message during a high-level plenary interview at the summit was, the country's development trajectory is firmly anchored on sovereignty, self-determination, and the strategic utilization of domestic resources. While Zimbabwe remains open to global partnerships, these should be founded on mutual respect and shared benefit, the president said.
Zimbabwe is a sovereign state.
Yes.
You understand? And we move on the basis that give us the best results of our resources. Whether it is relation with the West or the East, what is primarily important is what we ourselves as Zimbabweans are satisfied with. We don't need to please the West or please the East. We please ourselves.
On the investment front, President Mnangagwa held a series of high-level bilateral engagements, including meetings with international investors exploring opportunities in energy, agriculture, and infrastructure. Dubai-based conglomerate Jampor Group confirmed plans to prioritize Zimbabwe's power sector as part of its market entry strategy.
We had a very good meeting with His Excellency. We discussed our intention in Zimbabwe related to the power sector, generation as well as the transmission. We also discussed about the agriculture sector and then anything else is needed in the heavy equipment area. That's what we discussed.
Reinforcing Zimbabwe's diplomatic posture, Foreign Affairs and International Trade Minister Professor Amon Murwira said participation at such platforms reflects the country's engagement and re-engagement policy as well as confidence on the global stage.
Yesterday, he concluded his visit by a very good intervention on Zimbabwe's policy of friend to all, enemy to none, as well as open for business policy.
Tourism also featured prominently during Zimbabwe's engagements, with government leveraging Dubai's position as a global aviation and travel hub to market destination Zimbabwe.
They are from the source markets into Dubai as a hub, as it is a world hub, with 5 million to 6 million travelers across into Dubai to other places of the world. And we want them to fly direct into Victoria Falls, which is our pride, one of the 7 wonders of the world, which is in Zimbabwe. And it is good and very well received.
Zimbabwe's participation also extended to public health, with engagement strengthening cooperation with global institutions on immunization and disease prevention. Discussions on artificial intelligence, climate resilience, critical minerals, and future governance systems also took stage. Zimbabwe's engagement at the World Government Summit underscores the country's renewed international presence and determination to drive development through sovereignty, strategic partnerships, and global cooperation under the Second Republic.
Now, still staying with this story and to get more insight on Zimbabwe's participation and President Mnangagwa's message at the World Government Summit, we are joined live by development and economic expert, Professor Mandi Rukuni. It's a very good evening to you, Prof, and it's very good to have you on Newsplus. Now, what is the significance of Zimbabwe's participation at the global platform from a foreign policy perspective?
Good evening. You know what is unfolded across the globe over the last year or so. It's just how the geopolitical shifts now make it clearer to all of us that the head of state is the chief diplomat for the nation, also actually the chief defender of the nation, the chief hunter to go and hunt for your nation. So I should say, you know, leading up to the meeting before this one was Davos, World Economic Forum, where lots of heads of states made wonderful speeches, but nothing much was said in those speeches about Africa. Now, this World Governance Summit was great for Zimbabwe and Africa, because it's clear to me that Africa will be the next superpower after China. And within that, Zimbabwe has a critical role to play. And what has transpired so far and the performance of our head of state, President Mnangagwa, at that meeting really says, I think now we are on that world stage that we needed to be at this point in time.
So now, Prof, looking at it now from an economic standpoint, what are some of the key takeaways for Zimbabwe?
So as I say, the geopolitical shifts have also made it clear that the future for Africa and Zimbabwe particularly, it's a major shift from aid as the main solution to our economic problems in Zimbabwe. The future is about trade and investment. Aid is now a thing of the past. So this summit, once again, actually made it possible to explore much more deeply for Zimbabwe the future around investments as well as trade, especially with both the East and the West. But in this particular case, I would say that the areas where Zimbabwe needs investment most, transforming our agriculture further, investments into energy, mining, heavy industries which drive the link between rural and urban. I think that to me means that Zimbabwe is now ready to shift from just poverty reduction and food security at a low level to food sovereignty and major structural transformation driving our key industries, both rural and urban. So I think the future looks brighter as far as I'm concerned, just listening to what has happened at this summit.
Well, Prof, thank you so much for joining us and for giving us those insights. Now, that was Prof Rukuni just talking to us what was happening down in the UAE. Now, still staying with this same story, Zimbabwe and the United Arab Emirates extended their government experience exchange program to 2030, a move expected to further strengthen public sector and service delivery under the Second Republic. Our correspondent Eben Mabunda is on standby to give us a breakdown of trade relations between Zimbabwe and UAE in recent years. Eben, good evening and over to you.
Well, good evening. Bilateral trade between Zimbabwe and the United Arab Emirates currently stands at between $3.5 billion to $4.5 billion. Now, when you look at the exports aspect, you'd find that Zimbabwe has been predominantly exporting raw and semi-processed minerals to the United Arab Emirates, predominantly gold among several other minerals. And of course, moving on to the flip side, Zimbabwe has mainly imported fertilizer fertilizer, electrical equipment, your mobile devices, your phones, as well as your laptops, computers, the list of course being interminable. Not forgetting clothing from the United Arab Emirates. Now, this would give you the trajectory of the trade from the exports as well as the imports aspect of things between Zimbabwe as well as the United Arab Emirates. And of course, on the import side, peaking at $500 million nearly in 2023 from a low of $150 million in 2020. And of course, these being the products of interest where this very relationship is concerned between Zimbabwe as well as the United Arab Emirates. Of note is the fact that this has proved to be a market for Zimbabwe's horticultural products. And of course, as I indicated earlier, when you look at the flip side, you'd find that clothing as well as textiles are proving to be very popular with the Zimbabwean market. Hence what we're seeing, a peak of $4.1 billion in 2023, where the exports side of things is concerned from a low of $1.9 billion in 2020. So of course, expectation would be that there could be a potential increase in terms of the aggregates that we're witnessing at this particular point. And I must highlight that we await the tabulation of the 2025 statistics, and we should be able to get a picture of what has transpired in 2025, and this of course sets the tone of what to expect from 2026 as well as beyond.
Now, meanwhile, President Mnangagwa has returned home from his successful working visit to Dubai, United Arab Emirates, where he attended the World Government Summit. He was welcomed at the Robert Gabriel Mugabe International Airport by Vice President Kembo Mahadi, cabinet ministers, service chiefs, and other senior government officials. Now, some good news for farmers. We have an update from the Met Department when we come back.
The Portfolio Committee on Budget, Finance and Investment Promotion will conduct 2026 nationwide post-budget consultations. The date, place, venue and time for the consultations are as follows. All those who will be putting on military uniforms, signs of ranks, flags or badges, and political party regalia will not have access to the public hearings. The public, interested groups, and organizations are invited to attend these consultations. Written submissions and correspondences are welcome and should be addressed to the Clerk of Parliament. Attention! The Portfolio Committee on Budget, Finance and Investment Promotion, Mount Hamden, PO Box CY 298, Causeway, Harare. Submissions can also be made by email through the email address clerk@palzim.gov.zw. The Parliament of Zimbabwe, a strong, independent, people-driven, world-class parliament.
Welcome back. You are still watching Newsplus. Thank you so much for staying with us. Now, some good news for farmers across the country that have been facing a difficult mid-season dry spell with no significant rainfall that has been recorded over the past 2 weeks. However, now there is renewed hope as the Meteorological Services Department says the dry spell is expected to end this week, with rains expected in other parts of the country starting today. The mid-season dry spell has disrupted normal farming activities, forcing some farmers to delay fertilizer application, while others worried about wilting crops and declining soil moisture. In an interview with ZTN, the Met Services Department said normal rainfall is expected to resume this Thursday.
The systems are very normal during this period where we know that we have the peak of the rainfall in December into January, and it suddenly dries up just for the few weeks in January, which we call our mid-season dry spell. So it happens during the middle of the season, and we expect it to end as we get into the second half of the season, where we're expecting more rainfall in the months of February as well as March. So still to the farmers, we're still expecting significant falls, and we've got moisture that is coming in from the north. That's the intertropical convergence zone that comes in through Zambia into the northern parts of the country, including cloud systems that emanate from Botswana into the interior of the country.
Now, another news, prophetic healing and deliverance leader Walter Magaya is now a free man after the High Court granted him $3,000 bail, saying there were no compelling reasons to deny him freedom. The court ruled that the prosecution relied on the same grounds of opposition, which failed to stand in the initial bail application, which was also granted by the same court. Magaya was arrested on 4 counts of rape a week ago, which his lawyers argued was unjust. Now, High Court Judge Vivian Clovo ordered him to surrender his passport, title deeds, and to report twice a week to the police. He will be back in court on the 16th of February for trial. The state had opposed his admission to bail, alleging interference, arguing that his aide had been arrested for influencing witnesses. Magaya's lawyers, Admire Rubaya, Everson Chatambudza, Sylvester Hashiti, and Tavonga Makamure, argued that he is a proper candidate for bail who has not interfered with witnesses or violated his bail conditions. Now, in some mining news, or rather in our next report, we take a look at a major breakthrough for artisanal miners at Kitsiatota in Mashonaland Central, where Freda Rebecca Gold Mine has begun the process to formalize mining activities at the contested site, raising hopes for thousands who were pushed out by exorbitant license fees.
For years, Kitsiatota mining site has been synonymous with chaos, illegal fees, and broken livelihoods. Thousands of artisanal miners were forced out of Kitsiatota after access fees reportedly skyrocketed, and many lost control of mines they had developed, while others were completely locked out of the sector. Kitsiatota was initially earmarked for women, but they were gradually pushed out as fees became unaffordable. But a new move by Freda Rebecca Gold Mine, the leaseholder of Mining Lease 21 since 1988, could finally bring order and relief to artisanal miners. The company has now initiated a formalization exercise and has committed to ensuring artisanal mining coexists with large-scale mining, but within the law.
We have seen a market improvement in both production and therefore the welfare of artisanal miners. Where we are involved elsewhere, the artisanal miners are supported with operational inputs, so they are able to achieve higher levels of production, which means they benefit more from the higher level of production, but we also benefit as the claim owner.
Ground verification of registered shafts will be conducted before entering into formal contracts with miners. And with more than 1,000 miners and operators voluntarily registering to operate legally on Mining Lease 21, miners say this could transform livelihoods. This move has also brought relief and renewed hope to many women affected by the Kitsiatota situation.
Medium enterprises development. Our ministry is there to improve livelihoods, both for everyone, the community, be it young, old, wakomana, waskana, madzimai, and the like. But when we are talking about mining, ministry, we are encouraging our women to venture into key economic sectors that used to be a male domain. Mining, agriculture, tourism, trade.
As transformation gathers pace, artisanal miners here say they are cautiously optimistic that Kitsiatota will finally move from lawlessness to legitimacy and from exploitation to empowerment.
And now after the break, we give you business news.
This Valentine's month, share the ultimate gift of life. Donate blood and make a profound difference. Visit us in Harare at 53 Mazoe Street, Bograthia, or join us at the second floor, at the Gweri Showgrounds, or in Mashingo, at Haley's and Emsley Close, or at the main post office in Bulawayo, and at our Mutare branch. Give love, give life. Donate blood this February. Donors to receive special surprise tokens of appreciation.
Good evening and welcome to the greatest show on earth. This is a people's game. They will be bubbling about this one for weeks and months to come.
Wherever you are, whatever your reason, it's on SuperSport all season long. Reconnect and stay connected to DSTV Compact and get the best football on us.
Well, welcome back. This is still Newsplus. Now we take a look at what's happening in the world of business. It was a busy day at the Zimbabwe Pavilion on the second day of Fruit Logistica, currently underway in Berlin, Germany, where the level of engagement remained notably high as local exhibitors held meetings and discussions with potential buyers drawn from across the globe. Attendees expressed strong optimism about the volume of business that could be cultivated from the international platform in the long term, a development expected to broaden Zimbabwe's access to lucrative global markets while strengthening trade linkages.
Yeah, the stand has been really busy. All sorts of fruit. I talked to the guy from Bulawayo, I forget his name, was doing dragon fruit. I mean, I never knew that Zimbabwe even did that. Yeah, the level of engagement, people wanting to find out what's going on in Zim, what's available, talking to freight companies, very interested into how fruit moves out of Zim, where they can find a gap in the market, as well as yeah, a lot of marketeers, a lot of buyers trying to find out what's the best possible way of getting fruit out of Zim.
A lot of inquiries and received a lot of good traction being here. People very interested in our avocado. I think that's probably been one of the top products for us of interest to the visitors that we've had. Fruit Logistica is an important platform for us to interact and meet with existing buyers as well as new potential buyers.
The CEO of BWA, a German company with companies more than 10,000, and they are ready to engage Zimbabwe, to cooperate with Zimbabwe, and to work with Zimbabwe in all sectors, be it in the agricultural sector, agricultural processing, mining, tourism, and manufacturing, and even the health sector and pharmaceutical. So we are happy that we are being able to unlock opportunities which we have been working on.
Now we cross over to our correspondent Kuzanai Sharara, who is at Fruit Logistica 2026 in Berlin, as it gives us an overview of day 2. Kuzanai, good evening.
It's day 2 here in Berlin, where the world has gathered for the Fruit Logistica 2026, where Zimbabwean companies, 30 of them, are here to showcase Zimbabwean produce when it comes to fruits. today was a very active day at the Zimbabwe Pavilion, which has been facilitated by Zimtrade, with meetings after meetings being held by local farmers that are here. It was a hive of activity, with buyers thronging to the Zimbabwean Pavilion, inquiring about the fruits, not only the fruits that are here, but fruits like citrus that are not here, but also available in Zimbabwe. It seems like there is so much demand for Zimbabwean fruits, which are seen to be organic and closer to organic, that are in demand here at Fruit Logistica 2026, where 30 Zimbabwean farmers are showcasing their produce, whilst 12 are exhibiting at the Zimbabwean Pavilion that has been facilitated by Zimtrade, which is the country's trade development and promotion body. As we speak, the ambassador to Zimbabwe, Her Excellency Alice Mashinga, is currently in a closed meeting with Zimtrade official and some business associations from here in Germany, where she is based, and she has facilitated that meeting, which is underway, and we'll be able to hear more about what would have been discussed.
Well, Kuzanai Sharara, our correspondent reporting from Berlin. Kuzanai, thank you so much for joining us. Now we take a quick look at what's happening in the world of sport.
We're kicking your year off in all her glory with more, because we've got you. You get it. You know that. We got kicks. We got scores. We got action. We got roars. It's my specialty. We got drama. We got fun. We got more for everyone, with an upgrade on us just for you. More channels, more shows, more reasons to stay. We got you. DSTV, we got you all the way.
We now look at sport tonight. Mixed martial arts champion Sylvester Chifumbu is back on his quest for world domination after a winning return to the UAE Warriors 67 event last week. Chifumbu, the reigning intercontinental featherweight champion, has begun shaping up for his upcoming title defense in the next few weeks.
Sylvester Chifumbu is back in the octagon, with his sights firmly set on defending both his titles and reputation in the world of mixed martial arts. The gladiator from Gweru made history last year after becoming the UAE Warriors' first ever intercontinental featherweight champion in July. Chifumbu returned to action with a decision victory over Brazilian star Gustavo Ribeiro last weekend, featuring as the co-main event at UAE Warriors 67. The fighter is currently on a 3-match winning streak and is shaping up for a title defense in a rematch against Ali Al-Qaisi.
If I had lost the fight, it would have been a different, scenario whereby people will be asking if I'm really fit to be a champion. So I think it was important, especially with an international opponent, to cement my position as a featherweight champion. I think that was the most important thing about this fight.
Chifumbu is one of Zimbabwe's most consistent fighters, having also won titles in the EFC, establishing himself as one of the icons in the sport, and remains committed to helping aspiring fighters rise through the ranks.
Mostly it's, legacy and, having to groom the next crop of MMA athletes coming out of Zim. Like I've always said, we only have a handful of active athletes, and we already have 3 guys that have had 3 championships already. So I believe if we have more kids coming out of Zim, we'll have a lot of champions, spread across the world.
Chifumbu has been a champion in the EFC and the UAE Warriors in different weight classes and is widely tipped to break into the UFC. But the fighter is taking it one step at a time, starting with his next fight set for April.
That's all I had for you for tonight's bulletin. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Faith Nyode. Good evening.